Okay, so like once again, very warm welcome to each and every one of you. In this session, I'm going to take you through what big data is and what Hadoop is. Okay, so there is a distinction between these two terms. So by the end of this session, you will understand what is big data. So my first session today, this is all about big data, and I'll touch upon Hadoop ecosystem to answer all of your queries regarding what amount of coding we should do, and if you can survive without knowing Java and Oracle also. Okay. Okay. So let's quickly start with the importance of data. Okay. So Andreas Wiegand, a social data guru from Amazon.com, he says that he coined this term. He says data is the new oil. Okay. So what do you understand from this term? Can you quickly guess what could he meant by this? Data is the new oil.
Oil is like it's an expensive stuff, right? So data is also very important.
Right. Yes. May I know who has just answered?
Yeah, so you have tons and tons of data, but not everyone knows how to use that data. So the next challenge in the industry is that how to leverage on that huge and tons of terabytes of data. So
Okay.
whoever can use that data would be probably one step ahead of the other person. That's
Yes,
what I
yes.
feel.
Yeah, great answer. Thanks both of you. Um, may I know who has just spoken?
Yeah, that was Noman.
Okay, earlier,
Vivek,
Vivek. Yeah, thanks, Naman and Vivek. Yeah. Okay, so data is the new oil. He meant, why do you think countries like Gulf countries or Saudi countries are so rich?
because of their oil reserves.
Right. They have an oil. They have this natural resource oil, right? Which through which they are making a lot of money, right? So in the same way, any company which has this data is a very rich will be a very rich company, right? But how can anyone use data? Data is just information, right? How can anyone use data to generate income? Okay, you know, out of data we'll get what? Insights, isn't it? Data is used to get finally data is used to get some insights. Okay, how do you come to this point? Okay, there is one more step in between, that is nothing but analytics. By doing some quality analytics, you will get insights out of your data. Okay, so that is how you can make money. Oil cannot be used, it needs to be refined before it can be useful, right? It is the case with oil. In the same way, you know uh, even even your data needs to be refined. Okay, we call it data analytics. Okay, so our class big data and Hadoop, and rather this component big data and Hadoop is all about data analytics. Okay, we'll move to that. Before moving further, I have a question for you guys. So the companies like Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, right? They are developing. They are spending a lot of money on developing interfaces for us, right? So, but they are giving all of these services for free to us. How do you think that is possible? Uh,
Targeted advertisement.
Sorry.
Targeted advertisement.
Yes. Yes. So companies like Google, Facebook, they are making money through our data, right? Every user logs into Facebook, right? So when you log into Facebook, yeah, uh, all the information about a user, like his likes, hobbies, and then his interests, so many things like these things can be captured by them, right? So if you are a company, if you have a company and if you want to target your company's product to people who has liking in sports industry, you can ask Facebook, target my ad to those people from a certain geographical location and who has interest in sport. Okay, So Facebook will redirect your ad to those people, and you will pay to Facebook, and your business will get increased. So this is how Facebook companies like Facebook and Google are generating money. So any company which has data with them, it's going to be the future, and that is the reason why they are giving services for free. It seems to be free. It's virtually free. It is not free in a true sense. Okay. So I hope you understand this point. Let me move on to the next slide. So we have a company called Enterprise Security Group. Okay, this company is a research firm. Okay, it has researched around 400 odd companies in North America. Okay, back in 2010, and this has come up with various conclusions out of this research. Okay, let's see the summary of that research. What it says: majority of organizations view data analytics as a top 5 business and IT priority. Okay, out of the 400 North American companies, most of the organizations thought data analytics is one of the top 5 business and IT priority. Okay, such is the importance of this analytics. What do we get out of doing analysis? What do we get? Generally, analysis not just related to companies. If we analyze ourselves, what do we get out of analysis? Can someone answer this question?
Yeah, we can know where we are standing.
Exactly, right? It is like looking at ourselves. You know, so what do we get out of this? Benefit is we can improve ourselves, right? If we know how are we going, in what path we are going, we can at least correct it if we are going in a wrong path. So that is the advantage of doing some retrospection. We call it retrospection, right? So when it comes to data, we call that data analytics, and the main features of or main advantages of this analytics is we have reduced costs and process improvements. These are the two benefits, key benefits. Okay, and if you see, there is no leading data analytics platform that has emerged yet in the market which caters to all the needs of an organization. Okay, this is another salient feature in this finding. Okay, so people have so many, we have so many tools available in the market, like Teradata, Informatica, so many business analytic tools, data warehousing tools, but no single tool caters to all the needs of people. Okay, that means they have to take a tool and then they have to customize it as per their needs. Okay, that is the current trend. So I'm talking about the trend back in 2010, before that prior event. Okay, and one more finding of this research is big data is driving changes in analytics tools, infrastructure, and processes. So every company is looking forward to embracing this big data. you know that's what that report finds. Okay, so they're thinking that big data can drive changes in their analytics tools, in their processes and infrastructure. So let's see what questions these guys have posed to the companies. Okay, in the next few slides, and let's try to get some understanding out of it. So they have asked this. Hello, who is this?
Yeah. So this is Numan. I just have a question: that is big data the same as data science?
If big data
Talk
is
about is big data and data science the same thing?
data science, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll come to
So
that. I'll definitely tell that to you. Okay, let me go ahead with this. I'll come back to you when the time comes. Okay, so thanks for understanding. Now, the first question they had asked was, what was the meaning of the term big data according to them? So around 349 participants responded that very large data sets. They thought big data means very large data sets. Okay, 59% respondents have given this answer. Next popular answer was very large databases, 42%. People also thought Hadoop or MapReduce is nothing but big data, 11%. Okay, so that was what people were thinking. Now The next question being, what was the size of the largest data set for processing? Okay, so most popular answer was around 1 terabyte to 5 terabyte. There are also companies which are processing more than 50 terabytes of data. Okay, that's huge amounts of data. Okay, so next question was number of data sources to integrate. And when you have a company and when you have to do some analytics, right, you don't just get data from a single source. There are multiple sources which you have to integrate, and then you have to analyze. So typically there were around 3 unique data sources. This was the most popular answer by 23% respondents. And there are companies which process more than 5 unique data sources. Okay, so why are we asking all these questions is, if we want to develop a tool which caters to all the needs of all the companies, we need to understand their requirements, right? That is the whole purpose. Now the next question, what is the update frequency of the largest data set? Okay, so most people, the popular answer was most companies were using batch processing of data. So now, what is meant by batch processing and what is meant by real-time processing, right? Batch processing is nothing but if you take data of let's say if you take data of 7th July, okay. If you take data from 12 a.m. of 7th July to 11:59 p.m. Okay, so on 8th July, if you take data of this duration and if you try to process this data, then it is called batch processing. At some point in the past to some other point in the past, if you take data, then it is called batch processing. Okay, most of you might already be knowing this. Anyway, there is something else called real time. Okay, if you get data in streaming fashion, okay, continuous streaming of data, okay, that is called real time. Okay, so and if the data is something between batch processing and continuous live streaming, then it is called near real time. Okay, thing is most people were concentrating or focusing on this batch processing. Okay, and obviously there are some challenges while processing data, right? So they have asked them, what are the challenges while processing data? So this is important because we have to focus on this if we want to come up with a new technology or tool. So most people thought data security was the issue, that was bugging them. Data integration was another uh, problem, and and there are some other couple of problems like data quality, integrating data, lack of skills, so many things, data managing large data sets, right? Data governance, so many things will come into picture. Okay, so even some people thought license costs were troubling them. Okay, so these are the challenges that we need to address. Okay, it's like kind of open issues. And key benefits from processing data. So we have already seen this in summary: reduced costs and easier management and process improvement and so on and so forth. So, so one thing we can say evidently, data analytics is really important for them. They cannot avoid it, but they are struggling. They are facing some troubles with the existing analytics tools. Okay. Also, they want something beyond this, to get more out of analytics beyond the existing tools, and that is the point where this, Hadoop comes into picture. Okay, so let me move on. Let's see what big data and its hype. So you have been listening a lot about big data and hype surrounding it, right? So let's see some points from various research firms, and let's see if big data stands up to its expectations and hype. Gartner predicts that a leading research firm, Gartner predicts that Hadoop will be in two-thirds of advanced analytics products by 2015. That means 66% of the market, Hadoop analytics market, will be captured by Hadoop. Okay, we're almost at the mid-year of 2015. It predicts by the end of this year, 66% of the products, advanced analytics products will be captured or will be based on Hadoop. Another site, livemint.com, it says Smack is the new flavor of IT companies. Can someone tell me what Smack is, what it stands for? Have you heard of this term, first of all? No answer from anyone, so I assume that no one knows it. Is someone speaking? Okay, I'll tell that for you. SMAC is nothing but it's an acronym for social, mobile, analytics, and cloud. Okay, if you observe trend in the recent days, technologies that relate to either one of these platforms like social or mobile or analytics or cloud is leading. Agree? Social media like Facebook, LinkedIn, these are ruling the world, and then mobile platforms like Android and iOS, right? They are leading technologies, and then analytics tools like Teradata, Teradata, and then Informatica, data warehousing tools for analysis, and then cloud. Everyone is talking about moving their production servers to cloud storage, right? So this is the new flavor of IT companies. Everyone is looking forward to it. Now, SMAC will allow IT industry to offer more value to the clients. Okay, by adopting to SMAC, the companies can offer more value to the clients. That's what Lyman.com says. And another research firm called Offshore Insights, what it says, growth of IT companies is dictated by, again, the same SMAC peers and MAC technologies like cloud, mobile, analytics, big data, and social media services. According to the survey they have done, they have come up with this insight. Okay, so after studying all this, what I can say is big data is not just an overhyped term. It really stands up to the expectations, isn't it? Also, when it comes to job growth, when it comes to job trends, there is lot of skill gap. Companies are looking for people who are skilled in big data and Hadoop. Earlier, few days back, we had discussions with our company and with our company top level management. They are feeling that there are requirements for big data and Hadoop, but they are not finding people, right people for the job. Okay, they're finding it difficult to get resources. So what they thought was, let's cross train people ourselves rather than going into the market. Let's cross train people and then let's put them into various projects. So clearly there is a skill gap, not just in our company or in your company. So it's everywhere, all around the world. So it's right time to learn big data and Hadoop. Okay. So after all this intro to our big data, let's move to the technical parts of it. Okay. So when the first for the first time when you hear about this term big data, what struck your mind? Can someone tell me what what did you guess about big data for the first time when you hear about it? Someone from the term?
The data is humongous data. It's a petabyte, terabyte data, humongous data.
Okay, okay. That's what Nursing. Thanks, Mr. Nursing. Yeah, even I thought the same. The term itself says big, right? So it probably it talks about huge data, and that is exactly correct, right? Big data means lots and lots of data. When I say lots of data, it's in the terms of terabytes and petabytes. Okay, so when data is in the order of some terabytes or petabytes, then you call the data as big data. Okay, and there is one more interesting definition to it. Okay, so I'll read out the definition for you. It is a term applied to data sets whose size is beyond the ability of commonly used software tools to capture, manage, and process within a tolerable elapsed time. Okay, I know this is a big long definition and then difficult to comprehend. So let me put it in a simple example and then you'll understand it. Say you have an email application. Say you have to send an email from your Gmail account. You have to attach 100 MB of a video file. So do you think that's possible? Can you send a 100 MB video file over an email? Yes. Someone of you please respond.
Yeah, no, it is a very big file for a Gmail account.
Yes. Nursing and Priyanka are saying no. Yes, you cannot send a 100 MB video file. So apparently there is a limit to it, right? So what is the limit?
I think it's 25.
Yeah, I know for sure for Yahoo Mail.
Yes. So
25 MB.
someone has answered it. It is 25 MB. It could be anything. It is not of much importance to us. But my point here is, say suppose if 25 MB is the limit, upper limit of the attachment. Can you send 26 MB of file? If 25 is the limit, you cannot send 26 MB file, right? That means for your email application, 26 MB of data is big data. Okay, it is beyond the ability of your email application. That's why the 26 MB of data is big data for your email application. Now, just go back to the second definition and just read it. You will have clear understanding now. It is a term applied to datasets whose size is beyond the ability of commonly used software tools to capture, manage, and process. Okay, is that fine now? You got the idea?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So that is another thing. Now, what are the sources of big data? We are talking so much about big data, but where it is being generated from. If that is your question, then let's move on. So you can see three pictures on my window, on my screen, and right bottom of your screen at the right end, you can see Facebook logo, right? So what is the first thing when someone goes on a vacation these days, right? The moment he reaches an airport, he'll check in, right? He'll update his status at so and so airport, flying to so and so destination, right? So that that update appears in all his friends' news feeds, right? And then so many likes, comments fly back and forth, right? This is the current trend. Now, so all the updates and statuses that you have put on your Facebook account will have to instantly appear in your friends' news feeds, right? If someone comments on that status, you have to be you should be able to see that in next second, right? Once you reach your destination, you will take some snaps over there, and then again you will upload them on your Facebook account. Again, so many likes, comments will fly back and forth. So, you know, you are storing your pics on internet, right? That means Facebook is holding all your data. Whatever you upload onto the Facebook, it is uploading it to the its servers, and it is showing it to people whom you want it to. Okay, that means Facebook is managing lots and lots of data, isn't it? This is just you. Just imagine how many people are there, how many people have accounts in Facebook, and how many people are updating their data. Not just photos and videos, so many things, right? Just it could be a status update, it could be his opinion on some social issue, it could be anything, right? It could be an educational site, forum, it could be anything, right? So Facebook is holding, according to an estimate, Facebook is holding around 240 billion photos. Okay, so it is huge data. So, so do you think it can use some traditional storage for this? Traditional storage and some traditional database management system to store that data. What are so when I say Facebook data, it could be anything, right? The data could be structured, The data could be unstructured.
Sure.
There is no limit to it. There is no limit to the kind of data that comes in, right? So quite evidently, normal database systems cannot hold such kinds of data, right? So they are using something else. Okay. Anyhow, let's know now you understand, right, where this big data is coming from when it comes to social media like Facebook, right? Let's move on to something else. So to my left, to your left bottom, you can see NYSE, right? New York Stock Exchange. So many people will buy shares, some people will sell shares, so many transactions happen back and forth. So lots and lots of data is being generated, right, by each transaction. So according to an estimate, NYSE generates around 4 to 5 terabytes of data per day. Okay, so even that is huge data, right? 4 to 5 terabytes of data. So each and every days of transactions you need to store somewhere, right? You need to store this data, right? So that accounts to huge data. That means even NYSE has to store big data, has to process big data. They have to deal with big data. Similarly, let's take an example of an aeroplane. Okay, can someone guess after these two stats? Can someone guess how much data an aeroplane would generate per hour? Per hour, how much data that an aeroplane would generate? Just a wild guess will do. Please.
You're talking about the black box, right?
It could be overall. Let's say overall data by
Around like 20 TB.
okay 20 TB. So you think per hour an aeroplane can generate more data than NYSE generates for a day? Okay. Anyhow, that's a guesswork. I don't mind. In fact, this is I know less data. This is a bit less. An aeroplane generates around 30 terabytes of data per hour. Okay, this is like huge amounts of data, right? I couldn't even believe when I first had that. Okay, there are so many things when it comes to an aeroplane, right? The height at which it is flying, the altitude, I mean, the longitude, the latitude, the pressure inside the cabins, and then so many things like the weather conditions, and then the data from jet engines, so many things will come into picture. All of this data will be transferred back and forth to between ground station and the aeroplane, right? So, and also all of this data is important for the future, right? They have to do some processing, they have to do some analysis. So these are the three diverse examples that I can think of, right? So like this, take any industry, take an industry, suppose like some mobile data provider or mobile service provider, right? They have to capture each and every person's data, how many minutes or how many seconds rather each person is talking, to which to which other service he called. Is it same service or a different service, or so many things back and forth. Is he roaming? Is he in roaming or is he in local plan? So many things will come into picture, right? They have to capture all of this data. So take any industry, big data these days is evolving in that particular industry. Okay, it is no more just simple data. Okay, data is coming in from everywhere in all formats. That leads to all that data when it becomes huge, that is nothing but big data. So big data is all around. Now let's talk about structured data and unstructured data. Structured data has started its evolution at around 1970. Okay, its growth is quite slow. If you see, this blue color line indicates the growth of relational data. And if you take unstructured data, its evolution started at around 1990. But if you see the growth, it's quite huge, right? So it has grown rapidly over the last few years. It is exponential growth. We call it exponential growth, isn't it? Okay. So people are focusing on this relational data till date. Okay. People are focusing or analyzing this relational data to get some insights out of it. Now I have a question for you guys. If you can catch some two pounds of fish by fishing in a river, can you catch more fish when you go into an ocean? That's possible, right? Yes, obviously, right? So, some people have responded in affirmative. Yes. So, obviously, the same thing applies here. If you get some insights out of some small relational data, can you get more insights when you process some more relevant and unstructured data? The answer is yes, right? So this is just a small part of data. If you could get good insights out of this data, your insights will be more accurate if you also process this data. So let's not restrain ourselves to processing relational data. Let's keep an eye on complex and unstructured data as well. Okay, because this is going to be the future. As per few estimates, as per some research, digital universe grew by 62% last year to 800k petabytes, and will grow to 1.2 zettabytes this year. This was back in 2012. Okay, just imagine how much of data we would have now in 2015. These stats keep on changing, because this data is exponential. So this is growing at a fast pace, very fast pace. This is high time we should adopt to it. We should embrace this technology, embrace this complex unstructured data for our analysis. Okay, so let's move on to big data characteristics. Now we're talking about definitions, but if you have to summarize what all kinds of data that will be under big data, you can characterize big data by three V's. Okay, those three V's are volume, variety, and velocity. What is meant by volume? When you have data in the order of terabytes to zettabytes, we call that that data in the terms of this size will come under big data. Okay. When it comes to variety, you can get data in a structured format. You can get data in unstructured format as well. Okay. We cannot limit ourselves to structured data and say this is big data. Even unstructured data will fall under the bucket of big data. Okay. Now when it comes to velocity, data might come at different speeds. Data could come in batches, or data could come in live streams. Okay, so data of any format, be it a batch data or be it a streaming data, even both kinds of data will fall under the big data purview. Okay, so big data has any data which is coming in these three formats will be categorized as big data. Is that clear so far? You understand the definition of big data and you know characteristics of big data? Okay. So time for a quiz, guys. So I have various file formats for you, and you have to tell me which category of data that each format belongs to. You can just type it on the chat window. I want all of you to answer this. Okay. The first one, Word document. Will it fall under structured data or unstructured data? Yes, Nasim, you're right. Guys, please respond.
It's unstructured data.
Yeah, you can respond on chat window, because I'm expecting answers from all guys. Yes, Arif, thanks. Kishan, yeah. Priyanka, yeah. Yes, yes. Please, all of you guys, please respond to this. Word documents. Is it structured data or unstructured data? Yeah. Yes, will do. Nothing more. I'll explain you why it is so. Yes, Sagar. Yes, Nauman. You can guess and you can give me the answer. Vivek, yes. Sagar, yes. Yes. So, yes, you're right, Naman. Yeah, most of the people have guessed it correct. Word document is not most, everyone has guessed it correct. Word document is kind of is a form of unstructured data. Why unstructured? Because there is no predefined format to it, right? Your Word document might just contain a few sentences. My Word document can have an object, can have a picture, right? And your Word document can have simple paragraph, whereas my Word document can have few paragraphs into it. So there is no predefined format, you know. So that's why we cannot call it structured data. It is just unstructured data. Okay. What about PDFs and text files? Quickly type on the chat window. What about PDF and text file? Yes, yes. Great answer. Same. There is no difference as such. What about email body? Yes. Uh, Email body. I could see different answer from someone. No, no Priyanka. All others right. Yes. Okay. Okay. So why it is not structured? The same explanation basically. Email body doesn't say that it is limited to uh, you know okay. Mail body, there is no hard and fast rule that there should be some fixed number of lines that should go into it. Right? There could be an audio file that you can attach. There could be a video file that you can attach. Right? So that is the explanation for it. Let's move on to the last one. Data generated by some softwares or ERPs or CRM systems. Last one. Yes, definitely. Yes, some more answers, please. All of you, please respond in chat window. Yes, yes. Achu, Sagar, Priyanka. Yes, yes, Priyanka. Any others? Guys, most of you are correct. It is structured data, right? So they have a predefined format to it. They will define how the data should come out from the systems, and that is why it's structured data. Now, a tricky question for you, Vivek. XML. Yes, Vivek. So XML will fall under structured data and unstructured data. Okay.
I have a question,
Yes,
Sagar,
this is
uh, regard, regarding the ERPs and CRMs.
okay.
Uh, every com every company could have different data. Someone could have pictures, someone could have different things. So again,
Correct.
uh, it should be unstructured, right?
Mm-hmm. No, having see, even your Oracle database. Say you have an Oracle database where you have a column which supports blob objects, right? Having that in your Oracle database doesn't make your database unstructured, isn't it? But there is a predefined place to store it, right? So that way so you will have data in segregated format. Say you have constructed a table, okay, and then you say 10th column is always this, 10th column is always a binary object, so it will directly go and sit there. There is a predefined structure to what goes into that output of an ERP or a CRM, right? So it cannot be anything other than that. So there is a structure to it. Okay, that is why
Okay.
we call it structured data. But when it comes to email body, you know, there is no thing. When it comes to any other unstructured data, there is no such thing, right? Say suppose if you have something like this in Word document,
Right.
few lines should be about something, second few lines should be about something, then you can define that as structured. But that is not the case. You got it? Anyone
Right. Okay.
has asked me that question?
Sagar.
Sagar. Okay, Sagar. Thanks for that. Yeah, where was I? Yeah, I asked you about XML files, right? Guys, very sorry to say this. Whatever answer you give, that would be wrong because it doesn't fall to either structured or unstructured category. Okay, so it's rather tricky. So every XML file will have some start tag and then it will have an end tag, right? But every tag will contain some child tags. Is there any limit to number of child tags that should come in? No. And is there any limit to what I can place as a tag name? No. Pavan could be a tag name. No. Arun could be a tag name. Achu could be a tag name. Nothing as such. So you cannot classify XML data either into structured or unstructured. Okay. There is something in between that is called semi-structured. Okay. So XML data will fall under semi-structured data. Okay. Thanks, guys, for your responses. Let's move on. So big data users and scenarios. Okay. Companies, all big companies like Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, Amazon, these companies are using big data. New entrants are, each and every company is, trying to leverage this big data and Hadoop. Okay. So let's see various scenarios. Google, for its search engine, when you type something, you will get the results in less than a second, right? And you will also see that results fetched in 0.44 seconds sometimes, right? So what do you think is happening behind the screens? Google is obviously having lots and lots of data in their servers, and it is doing some web crawling, or rather web search operation from the existing data, and it is giving you the results. So do you think that data is possibly stored in some traditional database? That's even possible?
No.
No. The simple reason being, data that is Google is storing is both structured and unstructured data, right? It is, and also it is huge data. There are limits to what traditional databases can hold, right? Traditional databases cannot hold huge amounts of data. Even if they hold, when you query for it, it is very very slow. Agree? So obviously, apparently, Google is not storing this data on some traditional database. Same explanation comes to Yahoo search engine as well. Okay, let's see. Let's take another example like LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn is a social platform wherein you can post your resume or you can post your employment details, right? Say suppose you have 100 columns. Say suppose you have 100 this LinkedIn has defined 100 columns per user to store his data. Okay. Now, out of which only 2 columns are mandatory. What happens? So people like me will only fill these 2 columns and they will leave rest of the columns, right? So had LinkedIn used some traditional system, what would happen? Can someone tell me from a traditional some Oracle background, the database background? So the remaining 98 columns, what about it? Yes,
Oh, wasted.
yes, yes, Nasim. So they occupy null spaces, right? So
Yeah.
null occupies some space. Agree?
Yeah.
Even this null occupies some space. So unnecessarily, it would have it would waste a uh, lot of space in its server, right? So quite evidently, LinkedIn cannot have some traditional database as their backend. Okay, they are using something related to big data. Okay, the same explanation, similar explanation comes with Twitter. There are so many when someone tweets, so many retweets, so many favorites, everything comes back and forth, right? So all this should happen in a flight. The next second it should appear in all followers and news feeds, right? So you know had this data been in some stored in some traditional backend server, that wouldn't have been possible to give the data so fast, lightning fast. Okay, so they should rely on something beyond with traditional systems. Okay, the same. If you take examples of banking, some banking like company like American Express, they do so many analysis, like the customer expenditure patterns, his behavior, okay, his repayment patterns, so on and so forth, right? So they should know, they should guess even before the customer that if he's going to default or if he's going to repay, right? They should also do such analysis, very very critical analysis. That is the backbone of their industry, analysis. So they'll have lots and lots of data. They have to do so many aggregations and they have to do so many joins and all. So when it comes to big data, when it comes to huge data that they have, if they restrain themselves to traditional applications, they will miss out on something, right? One more thing to add here: so many companies have this concept called data archival. Heard of this?
Hmm.
Data archival. So why do you think people are doing this? Is this a limitation or is this a requirement?
Probably a limitation,
Exactly.
just like we archive our emails, right? After a certain storage.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Arun says it's a requirement. It's uh, uh, in most cases it is a limitation, right? If we save data, you know, we have to hold it by incurring it. It incurs some cost, right? Yeah, Arun. It depends on a field, or it could depend on the type of data. But if you have the capabilities to store it, you will definitely save it, right? It is incurring some unnecessary cost on you, and that is the reason why you want to get rid of it. That is the reason why people go for data archival. Okay. So as I told you, my previous example, if you can catch some fish in a river, you can catch more fish in an ocean. People want to have more data. People want to come up with accurate findings rather than limiting themselves to past 2 years of data. I want to analyze past 10 years of data. Okay. The problem is I cannot have some storage mechanism which can store my 10 years of data. So I'm keeping myself, to last 2 years of data. Okay. Had there been some mechanism, some cheap mechanism through which I can store my entire data set, I'm very very happy. I'll be very very happy to store my entire data set. Okay. So when you store lots and lots of data, that results in big data, and then you know this you have to need on something else rather than some traditional systems. Okay. But when you have big data, there are some implicit challenges that you need to answer. Okay. Now this is we are almost at the end of our presentation. So there are some challenges that comes implicitly with big data. Let's see the first problem. It is slow discrete and writes. Though the infrastructure has developed so much, still the disk reading and writing capabilities remain low. Okay, because when you have to read a disk, there is a physical pointer, some laser pointer or kind of thing, which moves around your disk track, and it has to interpret the bytes of data in it. Okay, so that is how the process of we call it disk seek. Okay, this seek is something physical, and that is the reason why physical movement of a pointer, and that is why it is still slow. Okay. So say if you have the capability to store say you have capability to store 100 terabytes of data, but what's the point if you cannot read it fast? What's the point if if it takes some 3 days to read this data, or 3 days to copy this data from one point to another point? There is no point. Sorry, I heard someone speaking. Who is it? If you have a question, you can ask me. Anyway, I'll continue. So this is certainly a limitation or challenge that we need to address, right? Okay. The second challenge could be, before going to second and third challenges, now I have a question for you. say suppose you have 100 GB of data, and if you can't save it in a single system, single computer, what will you do?
Multiple systems.
Yes, evidently you have to take help of some other systems, right? Yeah, Arif is saying a different answer. Thanks, Arif. Yeah, we'll come to that. That is slightly a technical term, you know. You're right, though. So we'll go for multiple systems. That's a simple answer, right? So we'll split our data and we'll save it in two systems, say probably each with 150 GB of data, right? So that is how you store it. Now the problem here is, if as a user, as a programmer, if you have to split it and if you have to store it in two different systems or multiple systems, that is a headache for you again. Agree? Because you have to take care of, you have to first consider the size, and then you have to consider the machine requirements, and then you have to split the data, and then you have to send it to different places. Again, that's a big headache for you. Okay, say somehow you split it and you have transferred it and stored it in multiple systems. Now if you want to get it back, again you have to integrate it back, right? You have to merge it and then you have to show it to the client. So that is another daunting task for you. And what if one of the multiple systems fails? What if one of the systems fail? Again, you should think of a way to, you know, get back the data. So these are all the challenges. Okay, first challenge is slow discrete and writes, second is hardware failures, and third data integration and transfer. So uh, if we can address these challenges of big data, then we are good to go. Okay, so let's see something, a concept called distributed processing. Okay, now I want all of you guys to answer this question. Please use your calculators or whatever to do some calculation. Your requirement is to read 1 terabyte of data, and you have a CPU. This is CPU. Okay, and you have to, your CPU capacity is 100 MB per second. It can read 100 MB per second. So how much time will it take to read 1 terabyte of data? Please answer on the chat window. Please do some calculation. Please answer it. 1 terabyte means, Kishan, you're right. Now please define, please have a look at, relook at it, Nursing. 1 terabyte means 1000 GB. It means 1000 into 1000 MB, right? So one more look at it, Nursing. One more time. Yes, Kamran.
2.7 hours.
Kamran, Kishan, both of you are right, and yes, someone already over the air, someone has given the right answer. So it is 1000 into 1000 by 1000. Yes, Achu, you're right. It is around 2 hours, 175 minutes. Okay, if you take 1024, it will be now. Now say you have distributed this data into 5 different machines, 5 different CPUs, and which wherein the capacity of each disk is 100 MB per second. Now what will be the time to process 1 terabyte of data? Yes, can I guess answer? Can I expect answers from you in the chat window? Now there are 5 machines instead of 1.
Yeah, so divide by 5.
Exactly, as simple as that.
Yeah.
Exactly, yes, Priyanka, yes, Achu. Yeah, your guess is very much right. It's divided by 5, right? So the work is being distributed by 5 different machines. So what was our first problem? Our first problem was slow discretes and writes. Okay, to eliminate this problem, we can go for distributed processing, isn't it? So if we follow this approach, we can easily eliminate our first challenge. Now, two more challenges are remaining: hardware failures and data integration and transfer. Okay, had there been some framework which answers or which addresses these two challenges, then I'll be more than happy. And Hadoop is here for your rescue. Okay, so Hadoop is a framework which processes big data. So big data is just a concept, okay, and Hadoop is a framework to process big data. Okay, so this is a quick intro about big data and Hadoop. Now, before we wind up, some people have asked me questions regarding various components inside Hadoop. So let's move to that. This is tomorrow's content, but to answer few questions, I'm going to show this to you. Yeah, this is quite important for all of you, related to your jobs and related to your careers, etc. So please go through this. Okay, so this is uh, Hadoop ecosystem in a picture. If you see, Hadoop provides a distributed storage system called HDFS. So we have just discussed about Hadoop distributed processing, right? So HDFS, through HDFS, that is H heap. Okay, and Hadoop has a programming model that is called as MapReduce. Okay, so this Hadoop framework has two parts in it. The first is HDFS and the second is MapReduce. HDFS is for storage, MapReduce is for processing. Okay, is that clear? Now, MapReduce is a programming model where users have to code using any programming language. Okay, if you want to do your analysis using MapReduce, you have to write a code in any programming language. It need not just be Java. It could be Python, it could be Ruby, or it could be C++. Okay, this is all about MapReduce. It is a programming model. Okay, now this is very low level. Hadoop has started with this MapReduce. Okay, this is very low level of analyzing data. Now, when you write your code in MapReduce, your code will work on the data that is residing. Your code will apply on this underlying data. Your program will apply on this underlying data, and that will analyze the data. Okay, now this is very low level language. Okay, for those who don't know, who cannot code, there are various roles in Hadoop. Okay, Hadoop and big data streams. Let me highlight those roles. One is Hadoop developer and Hadoop admin and data scientist. Someone asked me about this. And Hadoop architect. These are the roles. Okay, this course covers these three aspects and a bit of Hadoop admin. Okay, not in detail. Will not cover Hadoop administration in detail, but we'll cover a bit of it. Okay, we'll cover these things. Data science. When it comes to data scientist, I cannot say that we'll cover most of it, because data scientists need beyond Hadoop. Hadoop is just a basic stack. Hadoop plus you need Hadoop plus some other frameworks to be a data scientist. Okay, so yeah, so there are people who cannot code. Okay, for them, Facebook has this, since this Hadoop is an open source framework. Facebook has developed a high level language. Okay, yeah, I'll tell you Arif, I am coming to that. Facebook has developed a high level language, okay, and they called it Hive. Okay, so we have Hive. It gives an SQL interface to you. Okay, even if you don't know Java or any low level programming language, you can fire a query. Okay, so your Hive tool will convert your query to a MapReduce job. Okay, internally this will be converted to a MapReduce job, and this MapReduce job will get executed on the data. Okay, similarly, uh, there is another high level tool called as Pig. This Pig was developed by Yahoo. Okay, so it is even if you don't know any programming language or SQL, you can still rely on this Pig framework. This Pig tool is very simple. It almost looks like an English language. Okay, if you learn this Pig Latin language, you can write some script. That script will be converted to a MapReduce job, and that will get executed on the underlying system. Okay, so it does the work for you. So people who are in the roles of managers and like leads, they don't want to go for this coding. They can leverage Hive and Pig. Two advantages of it is, you don't need to worry about some low level details, and also you don't need to worry about the development time, because Pig takes relatively very very less time when it compared to MapReduce program. Even Hive queries are take very less time, right, rather than writing a code. Okay, so these two are high level languages. Okay, so we have something called Hadoop database, HBase. This is a NoSQL database. Okay, when it comes to analytics, row-oriented storage is not very much helpful. So we store the data in a column-oriented fashion, and HBase is one such framework. Okay, so we will cover HBase also, and Uzi. It's a workflow scheduler. So if you want to schedule various jobs like Pig jobs, Hive jobs, and MapReduce jobs, you can rely on this Uzi frame workflow scheduler. Okay. We have something else called as Zookeeper and Scoop and Flume, which we are going to see. So in my course, I'm going to cover HDFS, MapReduce, Pig, and then we'll see Hive, we'll see also HBase, we'll see a bit of Uzi, Zookeeper, Scoop, and Flume. Okay, Scoop is to extract relational data from an existing DBMS system to Hadoop file system. Okay, you can also export data from Hadoop file system to a relational database using Scoop. So this is for structured data exchange. If you have unstructured data like streaming data or log data, then you can make use of Flume to get data into your HDFS. Okay, so this is all about Apache Hadoop ecosystem. Okay, there are other languages like R and Mahout. Okay, R is used for predictive analysis. Okay, so data scientists, in addition to this basic stack, you also have to learn R. But this R will not be covered as part of our course. Okay, but you can still learn it. Okay, and then you can apply for your data scientist role. Okay, I don't say that all data scientists must work on R. Okay, you might have to work on this Pig or Hive also, but it's good to have R knowledge also. But this is a developer course, and this course covers only Pig, Hive, MapReduce, HDFS, HBase, and other frameworks. So we are not going to cover R and Mahout. What about machine learning? Machine learning is something, if your underlying data changes, your code realigns itself, and it will run on the new set of data. Okay, so that is about machine learning language. Okay, so that's all from me. Now it is open for questions.
Okay, Pavan, I have a question.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah,
this is Sagar again.
yeah, I'll take your question. Before that, all of you guys, please give your mail IDs and phone numbers in the chat window. Okay, so that we'll contact you for any further queries, for any non-technical queries and something. Please ping me your mail IDs and phone numbers in the chat window. Meanwhile, I'll take up questions. Thanks. Yeah, you can ask me now.
Yeah. So you said like for a manager level experience, they go and do pig and hive. But since I am a fresher, and I'll be like the experience which I have got is like around 2 years.
Right.
And if I learn pig, hive, and whatever you contain in whatever there is in the course,
Right.
so what kind of a job I'll be doing in a day-to-day
Yes, yes.
profile?
Even Hadoop
Will I be?
developers, yeah, Hadoop developers would also use Pig and Hive. There are use cases for each of these tools. Okay, so Pig is used
No,
in.
I'm saying how much work I'll be doing in the coding. If let's say if I'm doing as a map reduce, I'm hired as a map reduce. What amount of coding I'll be doing? Like again, it will be 100% coding job, or it will be some part of like
Yeah, yeah,
map reduce, some part of pig and what?
yeah. It's kind of even SQL programmer is also called as a coder, right? He's not a programmer, but still he's a coder, SQL coder, right? So
Hmm.
he'll just write SQL queries. Suppose I'll give you an example like this. Suppose if you have to do some join operation on two data sets using MapReduce, you have to write a Java code, right? But in Hive or Pig, it would be just calling this statement join, calling this function join. Okay. So even if you learn Pig and Hive, you have to know the concept of what to use for these joins. Okay, or how to join two different data sets. The only difference would be here you would use very high level functions. There will be built-in functions. So you don't need to worry much about coding, but still you have to use some functions while you write your script. Okay.
Okay.
So it
Because the thing is like
need
I'm
to
into coding for like 2 years, and I think like I'm not a good coder, so I just want to run away from coding. So I don't want to get into a coding
okay.
technology.
Okay.
So I don't know whether this is the right profession for me. So if you can tell me like this is right or wrong, I don't know. I'm not sure about it.
Yeah, I don't say coding will be 100% eliminated, but still you can think of it as you know 60% of your task is minimized. Okay.
So I can understand like 30% will be coding. I can say that.
Uh, I cannot give you numbers as such, but I can say code will be drastically reduced. It's a matter of remembering few functions and using them. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks. Any other questions?
Yes. So Pavan, this is Numan again, and I just wanted to know that this language pig and the other one I can't see.
Hi.
Uh, yeah, Hive. Are they used to leverage on your MapReduce programming language, or are they or are they separate from MapReduce?
No, no, they leverage MapReduce. As I told you, whatever query that you write in Hive, that will be converted to MapReduce stuff. The framework, the Hive tool takes care of it. Facebook has developed it. The point here is Facebook didn't want their coders, SQL coders to, you know, they want their coders to leverage on MapReduce. So they have hired some Java developers and they have developed this framework. So whatever query SQL coders will write, that will be changed to a
Do
MapReduce code.
we do scripting in Pig and Hive and then use MapReduce, or do we use MapReduce first? I mean, what is the flow like when we are trying to access HDFS?
Okay, say if you want to do some join operation on two different data sets, okay,
Okay.
either you can write a MapReduce program for that. So assuming MapReduce is written in Java code, or you can write a Hive query which says join table 1 and table 2,
Okay.
or you can write a pig script which says join relation 1 and relation 2. In pig we call it relation. We call the table as a relation. We call it as a relation. So I'm saying relation 1 and relation 2. Okay.
Okay. So this is or Hive or Pig, or
Yes. Or Hive.
Hive and Pig.
or.
Okay.
So that is the reason why even people who cannot code can leverage Hadoop. Okay, it is not just for programmers and it is not just for coders. Okay, if you don't know either Java or Oracle, you can still make use of this pig. There are projects which run on pig framework, pig tool, and there are projects which run on Hive, and there are projects which run on MapReduce. So you can go for any of these three.
So if you know Java and MapReduce, I mean, do you need to learn Hive or Pig, or I mean, or it
It's
can
up to you. It's
be
up to you. It's always better to learn. In fact, because a guy from Java background can easily pick up this Hive and Pig. Anyone can
right.
pick up Pig with relatively some idea on computers, right? Any guy can, Java guy can pick both of Hive and Pig.
Okay, and when you say that you need to have a Java knowledge, I mean, what exactly? I mean, Java is huge,
Okay.
right? I mean,
Okay.
what
Because
what topics in Java did you need to learn hands-on?
okay. So when I explain you some MapReduce concept, I'll also show you some MapReduce code. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll show you. Okay. So you will first understand the MapReduce concept. Okay. On a high level, and then if you see the code, it will be clearer to you. Okay.
Okay.
So even if you don't understand Java, then it's fine. The only problem here is you don't get to see how the concept has been implemented. Apart from that, you will know the concept. You can implement the same concept using Hive or Pig. Okay, the
I
concept
see.
remains same. So
I mean, what
that's
I'm trying to ask you is that you don't need to know GUI and all those advanced Java stuff, right? Like
no.
IOs,
Okay,
context, and stuff
okay.
like that.
So in object-oriented programming, if you have good knowledge on these classes, if you know basically what a class is and what a superclass is, class interface, and then abstract class, that will do. And if you know a bit of even serialization, and if you can work on collection framework, that's all you need to know in Java, nothing more.
Okay.
If you know what is a class, what is an interface, what is an abstract class, if you know how you can use collection, you're good to go with this. Okay.
All right. All right.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, Pavan.
Yes, who is this?
Yeah, my name is Vivek.
Hi Vivek.
Yeah, my question is like, can you just tell us like, how is like job market for this Hadoop for future, and because I am not aware of this, so
Yeah.
can you just?
So there are so many openings all across. Okay. So regarding openings, I can say that every industry is looking for big data experts. There is a short when it comes to resources, companies are facing shortage. Okay, they're not finding right people. Okay, so it's the job market is quite good. You can embrace this technology and you can start learning it. That's what I can say.
So what do you suggest as a starter?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you suggest how to go from here? Like what is your plan? To tell us, how to start.
I'll go sequentially, right? So I have a course content, so I'll explain all of these things to you. So based on your interest, if you like MapReduce, then you can apply for some MapReduce program. So after this course, I'll give you some projects, okay, which you can showcase as your work experience, or you can showcase them as you know that you had worked on such POCs, and then you can apply for jobs, right?
But minimum we should place 7 years of experience, right?
No, who told you? Why so? There is
No,
no
normally.
such. Even Hadoop developers, people freshers can code Hadoop.
Okay, because everyone will planning to go for like 7 years or 8 years, right? So that's
No,
why.
No, there are guys who are less than 7 years and they are working on it. I know people. Okay, if you can code, they will definitely take you. Okay, if you know Hadoop, they will definitely take you. There is no requirement when it comes to experience. Okay.
Hey, Pavan, follow up to that question. So, I mean, thank you for the explanation of what we have gathered so far. My take on this class is I want to understand if we are to continue um, once the class is completed, going into the job market, how many years are we comfortably to say that we have experience in?
Okay.
And I know most of us on here are looking to switch careers.
Right.
And in terms of salary requirements, what is the job market really looking at?
Okay. Okay. You can talk about it to Monica. Okay. She'll answer this. Okay. I can say after my course, you can at least claim to be 1 year experience. But based on the requirement, job requirements, Monica will give you a correct answer for this. We'll we'll
Yeah,
we'll,
Pavan,
we'll just limit ourselves to technical questions here. Anything related to non-technical will be answered.
Yeah,
Hey
one.
Pavan, this is
Yes, sir.
Kishan. I got a question, please.
Yeah. Who is this? Ishan.
Uh, can, Kishan, can you quickly explain what is not only SQL in this framework and also what is Ambry? I see that on the top. Can you explain also that?
Right, right. So, okay. So we will cover that in next class. Okay. And now, NoSQL database is column-oriented storage. Okay. So in general,
Mhm.
SQL databases will store the data row-wise, right? So here we'll store in column-oriented fashion. We'll see why and how in the next class. Okay.
yeah,
Uh,
Pavan,
And,
yeah.
Pavan, I
and
have
that Ambry means? What is that Ambry means?
Ambari, so it's a provisioning and managing. So you have so many clusters, right? So it will be more used by Hadoop admin.
Okay.
Okay,
Hey,
yeah,
Pavan,
Pavan,
this
I
is
have
Arun.
guys, it's already 9:40. So one.
Yeah, go ahead and tell me what are the next steps? Are you starting the class or what is the
Yes,
next
yes,
steps?
yes. Monica will get back to you. All of you, please drop your mail IDs and phone numbers in the chat window. You know, Monica from HR department will get back to you. Yes, we'll
yeah,
definitely
Pavan,
start classes.
Pavan, one quick question.
Yes.
What is the role of a Hadoop architect? Like, can you just come up with some
Yes,
points?
yes, yes. So based on the use case, if you have to choose which tool you need to go for the particular use case, you have to select it, and you have to. There might be a need to integrate various frameworks. There might be a need to do some tools as for one single use case. You might have to use different tools. So you have to design this. So these are all the tools that I'm going to use for this use case, for this business use case. So if you have idea on all of these ecosystem components, then you can be an architect. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Pavan, we need to know the Unix commands also?
Hardly 15 commands. I'll give the commands that are all needed. If you just can remember 15 commands, that will do.
Hey Pavan, I got one more question. Is it the entire course is taught by you or somebody else?
Yes, yes. I'm going to take up the entire course.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Pavan, this is Arun. I got a couple of questions.
Karan, we are at the end of the session.
First question is,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Please go ahead.
is there any limit on is there any limit on the size of data where we
No, no,
suddenly can start implementing Hadoop?
no, no, no. Big data can work on smaller data sets to absolutely unlimited data sets.
Okay. And the second question is, it's kind of related to job market. So, which positions are more available in market, like admin or developer?
I really cannot say that both are there. Obviously, developers are more. A cluster will be maintained by one admin, and probably 10 developers will work on that cluster. So the answer is developers.
Okay, Pavan, I got one.
Yes.
Other folks,
Last question. Last question, please.
To other demos and everything else, but is there somebody else also getting the same emails?
I didn't get you.
Yeah, I'm getting the live demo from another person, I think. I don't know, it's not the same, like Jane or somebody else sending me, but it's not from mind mapping.
Okay. I'm not sure of that.
Hello?
Hello?
Okay. Yes. So somebody will contact us about the next timings, right? So when we will get the email? Is that email comes, when is going to start the
Yeah,
session?
you can contact info@mindsmapped.com. You can mail to that ID. Okay.
Is going to start next week or what? What is the regular stand-ups? Is it Monday to Friday or what?
Yes, yes. It would be from Monday to Friday, same time.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to, yeah. So I've put my email ID, so hopefully I'll hear from somebody else, I guess.
Okay. You can call to the person who has given. Okay, I'll share the number with you. Okay.
Thank you so much.
How long is the course duration?
Post duration will be 35 to 40 hours.
And 1 hour, 5 hours a week?
Sorry?
How many hours a week?
1.5 hours per day.
Okay.
Thank you, Pavan. I appreciate all your time.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us.
Pavan?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
I'll reply to you on chat window. Okay.
Okay.
Others,
Right.
you can leave. Those who have some questions, you can talk to me on the chat window.
yeah, only one question, Pavan.
Please type it.